have to confess that I'm an exceedingly energised person. Just got a lot of energy, people. Always have had. In all my life, been very, very active. And now, you know, having made about 5 videos this morning, just been for an 8-mile cycle, walking now a mile to the gym, gonna do my workout, gonna walk a mile back, gonna carry on doing whatever I do. You know, probably do some singing, make some songs this afternoon. It's endless, energy is endless. When you're tapping into the cosmos, when you're tapping into the true nature of God consciousness, you have endless energy. And we all have seen people with energy, and we go, where do you get all that energy from? Look at kids when they're young, with all that energy and all that vibrance. Isn't it wonderful? You know, when you look at kittens playing, you look at that fun and that life and that joy and the energy, and it's just brilliant. And I see it everywhere. I see it in every single plant, in every single bush, in every single tree. I see it in every single bird, every single bee. I see it. And when I'm out cycling, I'm looking up at the clouds, as I always am, and I'm completely mesmerised. I'm ecstatic, and I now look at the trees dripping with ecstasy, and I'm like, I don't know what's gone on. I don't know what's gone on. I must be in the kingdom of God. Yeah, but you don't believe anything. You don't believe in God. No, I believe in the kingdom of God. I believe in the true essence of the cosmos, which is God. And when we are finely tuned, when this human experience is finely tuned, then it can appreciate the godliness of everything. It can appreciate itself. It's a self-reflection, because everything is a self-reflection. And of course, look, I have to say that those of you that don't comprehend the paradox, spend an hour trying to get your head around the paradox. Because if you understand the paradox, then you'll understand my videos and me a whole lot more, and yourself and the world and the cosmos, because everything is a paradox. Now, many things I say may appear to be contradictory, and some indeed may be outright, blatantly contradictory. But you see, the world, cosmos, is a paradox. We are a paradox. And so that is absolutely unavoidable. You cannot avoid the paradox. And so this is another reason why I'm completely averse to any notion of truth. Because in my life, I've never found anything that's fundamentally true, save for the deep isness at the root and seat of consciousness. And I call that God. And so that's where I am with it. And anything that you may consider to be is valuable and true in your reality, well, it's true to you. Isn't that enough? You see, we can only ever find something that's true to us, people. We can't find fundamental truth at the root of everything. Unless, of course, you go into the abyss. Then there is nothing there. There's nothing to compare it with. There's nothing to contest. There's no contester. You're absolutely in the eye of Horus. You know, in the heart of God. You have imploded within yourself. You are it. It is all that is, has been, and ever will be. And if you haven't experienced that, then you're going to struggle to grasp these concepts. And so I say what maybe lots of people consider to be very strange things, but it's only strange if you haven't had experience. And so you could relate this to many, many things in life. When people speak about lots of peculiar things that we haven't personally experienced. Oh, that's strange, that's weird. Yes, the cosmos is weird, people. It's very, very weird. And so if you want to know weird, then investigate quantum physics. That will show you weird. That will show you weirdness on a level that the greatest brains on this planet can't even remotely comprehend. That's weird. We're talking weird now, people. But you see, most people are not that complex, and they're not that intelligent, and they want to settle for something which is much less complex. So when people come up with simple ideas like, there's a man in the sky, he's invisible, but he loves you, and he's looking at you, you know, so you best be good. And if you're not good, there's a man in the middle of the world, and he's also looking at you because he's kind of like he's on the world as well. He's got a house, it's in the middle of the world, and it's really hot, and you wouldn't like it. And if you are naughty, then that's where he's going to take you. Don't you think that's really childish? It's kind of like Santa. It's like Santa's coming. Hey, get to bed, clean your teeth, brush your hair, do all these good things, because otherwise Santa won't come. You better be good, you better be nice. You better be naughty and nice. Santa's coming to town, only if you're good. You know that shit. Nobody ever sang those Santa songs to me. I come from a broken family, people. Best thing that ever happened to me. I wasn't indoctrinated. No Santa ever got inside my head. Santa what? Santa who? When I was like, let's say, I don't know, I was maybe at 8 years old, what I remember. I was in a children's home with my elder brother, 2 years older than me, and my two younger sisters went into foster homes individually. So we were all scattered. And on this particular Christmas in this children's home, there were most of the kids which had parents still responsible and in contact with them, and they brought presents at least the day before, so presents were available to be opened up on Christmas morning. My old man, our old man, he never had the vision, or he was too busy working. He was a workaholic, and he never got round to that, but he did come later on in that evening. So he showed up with a couple of presents, and these were these little tin wind-up boats, about 12 inches long, and one of them was a cruiser, and one of them was a speedboat, and me and my brother had those. And then he took us out into a pond in one of the parks for a couple of hours where we messed around with them. And it's great because Dad did show up. Dad's still there. We're still clinging on to Dad. Mum's gone. You know, our world's fucking shook upside down, but Dad did show up. But in the interim of Dad not showing up, everybody else opening their presents, we felt very unloved. We felt very, very neglected. And we looked around at everybody who obviously had a loving, doting parents. Well, I mean, that wasn't the case with me and my brother. So, the people who ran the children's home felt sorry for me and my brother, and they came into the playroom and they announced somebody just donated some Skittles to the children of this home, and seeing as you, Aaron, and your brother never had any presents, you know, these are yours. And me and my brother's like, cool, we've got some Christmas presents, wow. And we start all playing Skittles and we're having a great time. Half an hour later, or an hour later, something like this, one of the other orderlies comes in and says, they're not for Aaron and his brother, they're everybody's. Whoever donated them to everybody. And so all the kids then was like, that's mine as well, that's mine. So they came and, you know, taking ownership of the Skittles. So, well, fucking all hell broke loose. So then we're buffing each other with all these fucking, you know, big Skittles about 18 inches long, you know, hollow plastic things, and just bouncing off people's heads. And, you know, right, fracas ensued. But, you know, looking back on things like that, and then reading things in the Bible, even what you think you have will be taken away from you. Well, that's happened all my fucking life, you know, and so that's nothing new to me. And so I don't need to be afraid of that. I've been anesthetized to it for working really hard to acquire something, and then some fucker taking it away from you. Or, you know, you put in all your hard work into a business, then all of a sudden the money people, they force a financial collapse on the globe. So they, like croupiers, reap in all the fucking goodies when the bank forecloses on you, yeah, and takes all your property. Well, that happened to me on a couple of occasions in my life. I've been through 3 depressions, 3 financial depressions, people, and so these fuckers, you know, giving it you when, you know, they want to build a false sense of security, and then when you've worked hard for everything, they want to take it all back because they don't want to do any work themselves. They loan you fucking money, fiat money, paper that ain't worth a fucking wank unless you believe in it, and you go and put that money into actual physical goods, and they take the physical goods. You see how it works? They lend you paper, and then they take the physical goods when they increase the inflation, which you can no longer afford to pay the loans back with. So they loan you something, you take out the loan when they've reduced the loan, right? Oh, it's like 1% now. In my life, people, I've had situations in Great Britain whereby the interest rate was at 11.5%. And so when they were loaning like 1-2% or 3% or something like that, everyone was buying and everyone's feeling like they're secure. But then what these crooked bankers did, slowly, or not even so slowly in some instances, they just plummet the interest rates up. So when you took out the loan at 3%, now all of a sudden you've got 9% interest, and you can't afford it. It doesn't become feasible. So whatever you've invested that in a business or goods or a home, they then take that back. They give you paper, they take back goods. That's how the world's set up, people. And when you know this, you go, motherfuckers, there is a devil. And who's the devil? It comes in a human form, comes in the form of a banker, people. Comes in the form of fucking some motherfucker like Bill Gates or fucking Anthony Fuckery. Comes in the form of them. And where was I? I was in the kingdom of God, wasn't I? Yes, I'm in the kingdom of God. You see, I'm always speaking about entering into the kingdom of God. And I'm speaking to you when I'm outside of the kingdom of God. And I tell people how to get into the kingdom of God and how you are taken out of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is a metaphor. The kingdom of God is in your mind. Everything is in your mind. There is nothing outside your mind. And as soon as people get that around their heads, can you imagine people thinking that there's God up there in the clouds and they don't know anything about him and just believe in that because they want to? Oops, I said I wouldn't talk about that anymore. No, I won't talk about that anymore. Hey, look, right? Now then, some people are confused as to what's the difference between cow parsley, which is this one, this you see, this stalk here, cow parsley, let's have a leaf, and then we'll go and compare it to a hemlock. So you've got all this cow parsley here, all that stuff, and these big flowers are going to burst out like this. They're all in a small group, right? Whereas hemlock is like that. Let's get close up to a hemlock. This is how hemlock is. They're much more stratified and scattered, and the leaves are very, very obvious. They're like that. So that's the hemlock, like a carrot leaf, because it's you know, same family. Well, the parsley is the same family as well. But look at the difference. You can't make a mistake, can you? But someone put in the comments the other day that even though their mind tells them that there's, you know, obvious differences, they still don't want to risk it because fear is a very, very powerful thing. That one will kill you, apparently. That one's edible. You know, at a certain stage in our lives, people, we have to have confidence in our own consciousness, in our own intelligence. Because if you don't have confidence in your own intelligence, then, you know, you're always going to be reliant on what other people tell you. And why would anybody have confidence in what other people tell you? If people say, oh, this is healthy for you, oh, that's healthy, oh, okay then, who the fuck said that? You know, when people say, oh, whatever the doctors prescribe you, that's good for you, none of it's good for you. All of it is poison. And so oh my God, you just look at this world and you go, what the fuck's going on? Now, you see here, this here is the cow parsley. That's how that's flowering at this moment in time. And this is the hemlock. So there's a great difference, isn't there? Because look, this is coming up on its main stalk like that and flowering. And this one comes up on its main stalk and shoots off in loads of branches. And then you've got the leaves, which are like this, and they're going to get very, very big like that. And then, you know, you've only got these little leaves like that. So there's a lot of difference, people. Even though they are the same family, there's a lot of difference. And so, you know, you just got to have confidence. So, okay, look, evidently this whole religion and God thing and truth thing, you see, look, I come out of the religion thing a little bit, but I'm drawn back into it with the truth thing, because, you know, the religion is a lie. And so if you are looking for truth, then the first port of call that you're going to dismiss and discount is the lies of religion. They're the ones that we immediately need to cross off. They're the ones that we immediately need to discount and attack and destroy, because they're absolutely, completely and utterly false. It's all hypnosis. It's all fucking propaganda. And then when we've done that, then we can look at other things, you know, where there's truth, and then we look into math, and then we think at a low level that math is true, but then when we come upon Gödel's theorem, we discover that, well, ultimately math isn't true, everything breaks down, so you go, oh shit, okay, no truth there. And then you look into science, and science tells you all the atoms and the molecules, you know, but then you go over onto quantum physics, and then they tell you, unfortunately, there's no atoms, just energy, and then you go, oh fuck, no truth there then. And so what do we do, people? The only thing we can possibly do, because if you're looking out there for truth, then it's just a can of worms, and we'll never ever find it, because there's just too much controversy, there's too much of a paradox going on in any shape or form. So what do? We do what Christians have done, we do what Muslims have done. We just settle a dogma, we settle at a belief, because the world's too complicated, and we feel too insecure, and we're not intelligent enough to work all this stuff out, and we don't have the time in any case, because we're all slaves. So if we want to have some sort of element of comfort in our lives, then either we are, you know, ardent atheists, and we don't believe in any shit, and we just get on with the fucking life, eat shit and die. Or if you want to feel like nice and cozy, and, you know, someone loves you, and, you know, someone's going to cuddle you when you die, then you choose a religion, don't you? I mean, am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? And albeit, you know, you can look at this logically and reasonably, and many of you will go, she makes perfect sense to me. But then you're going to have a large portion of the world's populace which are going to be furious about me stealing their thunder, because they hate their thunder being stolen. They don't want anybody to take away their fantasy, their fiction, to pop their bubble. And so that's why the venom comes out, you know, and that's how they disprove themselves from being a religious adherent, because they're supposed to adhere to the tenets of those religions, which says you've got to be a good person, kind and non-judgmental and loving and forgiving, and yet they turn out to be none of those things. And so you would have thought that these people would look at themselves and go, I thought I was a Christian, but all the things I'm doing don't pertain to the Christian values. Who am I? What am I? What is belief? What is truth? I don't know. Okay, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Come and watch the Awake and Brave videos. He'll tell you where to go. And so, you know, that's where we are in this dimension, isn't it? We've all been given a shard of God consciousness to make of this dimension what we can. And so it's like the all-seeing eye. I relate it to like a disco ball. For those of you that are old enough to have been, you know, young adults in the 80s, you'll remember the disco balls. And there's those big mirror globes with like 1,000 little mirrors all around them, and anytime the laser light shone on them, they would scatter all these lights. And so if you're standing in front of the disco ball and one of the little tiny mirrors reflected the light directly back to you, that was your truth. And then, you know, they'd be reflecting all over the place, and that wasn't directly engaging you. And so that's like what this conscious thing's about. We have a direct line with God consciousness, with the disco ball, and we all see it and experience it in a different way. So if you can imagine 1,000 people in a disco and one disco ball up in the ceiling, they're all seeing it from a different perspective. They would say that, oh, it's the same disco ball, but physically it is the same disco ball, but because there's no physical reality, then metaphysically, you know, it's only the same disco ball. Philosophically, you know, it can be the same disco ball or it cannot be, depending on how you want to look at it. And, you know, it gets very, very confusing, it gets very dichotomous. And when we think about this stuff a lot, then it will take you out of your peace if you are not too careful. And you know, you can feel agitated about it, and you can end up in conflict and things like that. And then, you know, for those of you that watched my first chat with Ziggy, we have another 2-hour and 45-minute one, by the way, which I'm going to upload in a few days. But if you watch the first chat, then you'll see that I say to him that it's my intention to bring balance to my life. I am the Libra, I'm the scales. That is what I am. I'm born under that constellation. And, you know, when we look at the so-called truth of this reality, then that one seems to work its magic, because I do like, you know, to fluctuate between the two. I do like to come back to balance, but I do like variety. So then I tip this way and then I tip that way, and if I'm even Stevens for too long, I find that unstimulating. So then I'll throw a spanner in the works to create chaos. That's what I do. And so constantly I'm throwing a spanner in the works on my videos to bring chaos. But not only that, you see, when you bring chaos and you upset people, then you get a level of truth out of them, because when they're angry, they're going to spit their venom. And they're going to say things that they wouldn't say under normal circumstances. So you can see the true colour of the beast. So I want to know what I'm dealing with. So I will always be poking at the bear to see, you know, when it's going to swing for me. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm always jousting, but because I'm not insecure about being attacked, because it doesn't matter a flying fuck to me whether I'm attacked, you know, with text or with words or in the physical. You know, I'll be able to deal with all of them, and I've dealt with all of them all my life. And so I'm not going to shy away from any confrontation like that, because we grow from confrontation. And, you know, it's the whole, you know, pain and suffering and trauma and, you know, being compromised that makes us dig deep and, you know, see what metal we're made of, and discover, you know, our inner strength, and, you know, come out of it and feel proud and feel accomplished, instead of buckling and feeling weak and pathetic and cowardice. You know, this life is a challenge, isn't it? It's like, you know, we're sent here, and it's kind of like, who are you? There you go. You go and find out who you are. You go and find out who you are in this dimension of this particular time. So I'm born Aaron Berry, and then, you know, I'm going through all my life, and I'm on a self-discovery. It's not about men up in the sky or, you know, beasts in the middle of the earth. It's just not about that. It's about me. It's all about me. It's about perception, what I'm feeling, what I'm intuiting, what I'm experiencing. It's all about me, and it's all about you. And so when we take that on board, when we grasp that, when we stop clutching at fantasies and dreams and all the rest of it, then, you know, things will start to look a little bit more clearer. And then you'll chill the fuck out a little bit more, you know, and then you won't be so vexed if someone doesn't fall in line with your truth, with your projection of your fantasy onto the canvas of your world. It's a very, very, very bizarre, complex and beautiful illusion. And the way I see it in a very dreamlike way, where everything is communicating with me. And now all of these life forms, they're all communicating with me, and they're all dancing for me, and they're all smiling, they're all joyous, and you know, they're all saying, isn't life wonderful? Isn't life wonderful? Because it's a state of mind, people. When we calm our minds down, when we don't have any pressure, or we don't have any thing to cause us agitation, then we open our hearts up and we feel beautiful because we're still. And we're not compromised, and so then we see the world in a much different way. We go, actually the world's beautiful, look at all this, look at all that, and you're not afraid of it, and you know, you just feel the joy. It's a state of mind. And so, well, what's going on there? You're in the kingdom of God. You're in the kingdom of God because you're in the primal state of the human being. The Tao Te Ching speaks about this. And if you read Lao Tzu's Tao, then you will know, if you've read it, that what he's speaking about is when we are at our most primal, instinctive stage of development, we are then the closest to God. Because when we are very, very grounded and in contact with Mother Earth, and you know, we're just working under the sun to feed ourselves and our families, that's the most natural and beautiful, perfect state for the human being to be in. We are now in a very fake environment. It's completely false, it's fake, and it needs governing very, very strictly by severe undercurrents of manipulation, machinations, and all different sorts of sinister things. And if anybody gets feeling like under the illusion that we're evolving, oh look how we're evolving, the human being is absolutely not evolving. In actual fact, it's devolving. It's no more evolved than it was like 10,000 years ago. Because if we had a nuclear holocaust or meteorite, within an instant, overnight, you will see a whole different beast come out of the human being. A completely unconstrained survival of the fittest animal. That's what you would see. Also, you would see, you know, a great deal of compassion and support for family and friends, because it would bring unity in small communities. And so this is why the unity in small communities was you know, the perfect state of the human being. Because when we got past that small community and we no longer knew everybody, we no longer valued everybody, we didn't need the basket weaver and the fishing rod maker and the arrow fletcher and all these sorts of things. When we didn't need those, then we no longer respected them. And then when we just went to buy our wares from markets and things like that, we weren't dependent on the individuals making them necessarily. We could just buy all this shit or trade it in. And so we became more and more detached and less of a relationship with all the people that were supplying us all these things. And now, it's like I say, what do I know about the people that pack my fucking chickens or can my beans or bottle my beer? What do I know about any of those? I don't know nothing about them. And so I don't have any heart for any of that stuff going on. It's just AI that's doing all that shit. And it could be machines doing most of it, but it's also AI when you've got automated, robotic, like drone human beings, because they're being taken over by AI. So there's nothing for me to respect in any individual. They're just slaves, aren't they? And no community, it's all gone. We're all so detached, and we're all fighting, you know, for our own survival, and you know, trying to dream our way out of this terror that we call modern life.